Have you ever wondered if it's truly possible to know what someone is thinking just by observing their body language? Imagine being able to understand the thoughts and feelings of those around you just by watching their gestures and listening to the tones of their words. Does it sound impossible? Let me tell you a story that will reveal the secrets of this fascinating skill. Get ready for a journey full of mystery and wisdom, where we will learn valuable tips on how to read people's minds. In a small village hidden among the mountains, there lived two brothers. The elder brother, blind since birth, was known for his wisdom. The younger brother, a young farmer, struggled daily to protect his crops from animals that frequently invaded his fields. One day, exhausted from trying alone, the younger brother had an idea. "Brother," he said, "can you help me protect our crops? You could stay in the field and use your keen hearing to scare away the animals." The older brother agreed, and together they built a small hut in the middle of the field. The blind brother settled there, ready to use his sharp senses to help. Whenever he heard an animal approaching, he would shout, scaring the creatures away and protecting the crops. One time, a wolf crossed the field, frightening the animals and leaving a trail of destruction. Shortly after, a nobleman who was chasing the wolf arrived at the field and noticed the blind brother sitting in his hut. The nobleman asked, "Did you hear a wolf around here?" The blind brother calmly replied, "Sir, I am blind. I cannot see a wolf, but I can assure you that the animal you are pursuing is not worth your effort. You are wasting your time." Intrigued, the nobleman questioned, "How can you know this if you cannot see? Are you lying to me?" The blind brother smiled and said, "The animal that passed through here is not an ordinary wolf. It is a pregnant she-wolf. I have never heard of a nobleman hunting a she-wolf about to give birth, so I'm telling you it's not worth pursuing her. It's better to let her go on her way." Perplexed, the nobleman insisted, "How can you be sure of this if you are blind? How can you know that the she-wolf is pregnant?" The blind brother explained, "Sir, I may not see with my eyes, but I hear and feel things that eyes often overlook. The sound of her steps, the way she moved. All of this told me that she is about to give birth." Still skeptical, the nobleman decided to verify and ordered his captain, "Captain, bring that animal back alive. I need to confirm if she is indeed pregnant. This blind man seems very sure of it, and I need to know the truth." The orders were followed, and the captain went to capture the she-wolf. When he returned, he confirmed that the blind brother was right. The she-wolf was indeed pregnant. The nobleman, now full of admiration and curiosity, turned to the blind brother. "You truly do not see, but you perceive more than many who have sight," said the nobleman. "I have many questions, and I need to know more. Can you answer with the same wisdom?" The blind brother nodded. "Sir, ask whatever you wish. If I know the answer, I will tell you with complete sincerity." A few days passed, and the nobleman ordered the brothers to be brought to him. The nobleman had been carrying a tormenting doubt. "I need to know if my brother is truly on my side or if he plans to betray me." The blind brother calmly replied, "Sir, what kind of question is this? You have been brothers for so many years, and now you doubt his loyalty? Why do these doubts arise in your mind?" With a determined expression, the nobleman insisted, "I need an answer. If you cannot help me, I will consider your wisdom to be just a legend." Hearing the firmness in the nobleman's voice, the blind brother said, "Sir, if you truly desire this answer, you must follow one condition of mine." The nobleman asked, "What must I do?" The blind brother replied, "To discover the truth, you must leave your brother alone with me for a moment." Initially reluctant, the nobleman finally agreed and ordered the younger brother to be alone with the blind brother in a separate room. When they were alone, the blind brother asked the younger brother to tell him a story about his childhood. As the younger brother recounted his story, The blind brother interrupted with questions about specific details, observing any hesitation and evasive answers. When they finished, the blind brother went directly to the nobleman and said, "Your Majesty, your brother is not loyal." Perplexed, the nobleman questioned, "How can you know this? Explain yourself." The blind brother replied, "While he was telling me about his childhood, he hesitated on simple details and tried to avoid certain questions. This reveals that he is hiding something. If he were loyal and honest, he would have answered without hesitation." The nobleman said, "You are indeed wise. Very well, let us continue. Answer one more question correctly and I will allow you to go." The nobleman then asked, "Tell me, can I trust my allies fully, or are they plotting against me?" The blind brother responded, "Sir, why this concern? You have led these men for many years. What makes you question their loyalty now?" But the noble insisted, "No, I want the exact answer to this question. Otherwise, this doubt will always torment me. I need to know the truth." The blind brother said, "Sir, I can give you an answer, but before that, I want you to promise me that you will not make any hasty decisions." The noble affirmed, "I promise that I will not make any hasty decisions." Then the blind brother said to the noble, "If you wish to know the truth about your allies, bring some of them to me so that I can speak with them personally." Curious and eager, the noble ordered 3 of his key allies to be brought to the blind brother. When the men arrived, the blind brother asked each of them to describe their recent actions and future plans. He listened attentively to their words, but paid even more attention to their voices and tones of hesitation. After speaking with each one, the blind brother returned to the noble and said, "Sir, one of your allies is true and loyal, but the other 2 are not trustworthy. I noticed their hesitations and how they avoided directly answering questions about their intentions." The noble, intrigued, asked, "How can you know this just from their words?" The blind brother replied, "Sir, words can lie, but the way they are spoken, the pauses, the tones, and the hesitations reveal much more. Even without sight, I've learned to perceive the truth in people's voices." Curious, the noble asked, "But tell me, how do you know what is right and what is wrong? How can you give such precise answers?" The blind brother responded, "Sir, I have been blind since birth. If I had vision, I could easily understand people's thoughts through their eyes and facial expressions. However, the human mind has its own language, and this language manifests in actions and behaviors. By observing posture, tone of voice, gestures, and the way someone moves, we can decipher what is going on in their mind. Being blind, I've developed the ability to perceive these subtleties through people's actions and reactions." The noble asked, "Does this mean I can also learn to understand the thoughts of others?" The blind brother replied, "Yes, you can also learn. However, first and foremost, you need to develop the ability to calm your mind and focus on the present moment. I will teach you 3 simple techniques for this." Eager, the noble said, "I am ready to learn. What do I need to do first?" The blind brother explained, "First, you must learn to observe without judgment. When interacting with someone, pay attention to the small details, the way they move their hands, how their tone of voice changes, how they react to different questions. These cues are more revealing than the words themselves." The noble nodded and asked, "And what is the second technique?" The blind brother continued, "The second technique is active listening. Do not focus solely on the words being said, but also on what is not being said. Hesitation, pauses, the speed of speech, all these reveal much about the person's emotional state and true intentions." Increasingly interested, the noble asked, "And the third technique?" The blind brother smiled and said, The third technique is to practice empathy. Put yourself in the other person's shoes and try to feel what they are feeling. This will not only help you better understand their motivations, but also strengthen your connection with them. Remember, a calm and present mind is key to deciphering the thoughts of others. The noble reflected on these words and thanked him. You truly have a wisdom that goes beyond sight. I will follow your advice and apply these techniques in my life. The blind brother concluded, Remember, sir, that true understanding comes from attentive observation and empathy. When you learn to see with your heart and mind, you will understand people in a way you never imagined. The story of the nobleman and the blind brother teaches us a valuable lesson about human perception and understanding. In our daily lives, we often rely solely on what we see and hear superficially, without realizing that people's true intentions and feelings are revealed through their actions, gestures, and subtle behaviors. To apply this wisdom in our lives, we need to learn to observe attentively and with empathy. It is not enough to just listen to the words. We must notice the tone of voice, the pauses, facial expressions, and body movements. Each small detail can reveal more than we imagine. The first lesson is to observe without judgment. When interacting with someone, we should pay attention to small details and nonverbal cues without making hasty judgments. This helps us better understand the other person and avoid misunderstandings. The second lesson is active listening. We should listen not only to what is being said, but also to what is not being said. Hesitations, the rhythm of speech, and pauses can give us clues about the person's emotional state and true intentions. The third lesson is empathy. Putting ourselves in the other person's shoes and trying to feel what they are feeling allows us to create deeper and more meaningful connections. Empathy helps us better understand others' motivations and needs, strengthening our relationships and improving our communication skills. To achieve true understanding, we need to calm our minds and focus on the present. When we are present, we can correctly perceive and interpret the signals people give us. This not only improves our communication, but also makes us more aware and compassionate. By practicing these lessons in our daily lives, we become more perceptive and sensitive to the needs and feelings of others. True understanding goes beyond words and requires attentive and empathetic observation. When we learn to see with our hearts and minds, we can build healthier and more harmonious relationships, fostering a more compassionate and understanding coexistence with everyone around us. Remember, the key to understanding others is first understanding yourself. When you know yourself and calm your mind, you can see the world with greater clarity and wisdom. If you enjoyed the story and it resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next videos. So, until the next video.